Welcome to That Sunna Feeling, the podcast where beauty meets ambition, hosted by Brandy and Shannelle, the founders of Sunna.
Here we peel back the layers of the beauty industry, offering insider tips, business strategies, and personal stories that inspire and educate you on the path to success in your spray tanning, teeth whitening, and beauty business.
Whether you're dreaming of launching your own venture, looking to expand your revenue streams, or simply curious about what goes into our products, we're here to guide you each step of the way.
From the fundamentals of picking your very first spray tan machine to building an empire from the ground up.
That Sunna Feeling is your go-to source for business motivation and knowledge.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to be joined by Chelsea. She's a multi-beauty entrepreneur and a new SunnaSmile artist. And she's here to share her journey of adding teeth whitening for her thriving, already existing business and how she added it in. So when Chelsea first contacted me about adding SunnaSmile, I was obviously thrilled. She did her research and she knew she wanted something clean and safe and client approved. And I was like, it's about damn time, girl. But really, it has to be something you're ready for, right? Any new service, especially when you're a perfectionist, comes with a lot more energy than just adding it and a set it and forget it type of thing, right? So let's talk about that, because I feel like a lot of beauty entrepreneurs are like you that are doing tanning or another service and they want to add something new. They want to make more money, but they're also like, I'm already so busy. So like, why SunnaSmile for you? Like, why now after almost 2 years in business? Why now? Why SunnaSmile?
Well, after being successful with spray tans, when I had started, I think maybe 3 months in, I had two other services that I wanted as an add-on service. But as time had gone by, I realized that they didn't quite align with me. And of course, working with Sunna for 2 years, I had been really curious about SunnaSmile. And after having multiple conversations with my longtime and current clients about teeth whitening, I was definitely curious to look more into it because I've seen the success that's come from teeth whitening. And of course, loving Sunna as a company, I thought it was a no-brainer to look into it after having so much interest from having those conversations with my clients.
Yeah. And I think it's like, it's hard. Teeth whitening can also come with like negative, right? You don't want to bring something into your business. I mean, a lot of people, I know when I was doing teeth whitening, would be like, well, I'm so sensitive. Like every teeth whitening service I've had, has that been your experience so far, bringing people in like that they're first?
Yes, I feel like that's that's like the first thing that people say when they ask either in my DMs or if they ask me in person, like, well, my teeth are kind of sensitive. What's your experience with the product when doing it? Is it going to make my gums hurt? Is it going to make my teeth hurt? And of course it doesn't. And every service I've done now since launching, I haven't had any feedback about pain. So that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's something when we were looking for a teeth whitening product, like rewind like 10 years. And I know I wanted to add teeth whitening for all these stores that were doing tanning and wanted an extra service. That's something that was so important to me because every teeth whitening experience I've had up to that date, yeah, my teeth were white, but I was like, could breathe in air for like a month after. So you also don't want to bring a service in and then all of a sudden now people are like having a negative, energy around your business because of an experience that they had, right? So that's what's nice about SunnaSmile is that it is safe. We're not going to guarantee you're going to whiten your teeth like 10 shades, but that's going to cause sensitivity. We're going to naturally bring your teeth back to how genetically they should be. So I'm glad that's been your experience so far. What was it like when you first launched SunnaSmile? How did you introduce it to your clients? What has happened since?
So in the beginning, I made sure when I had thought about wanting to launch this service or add on the service into my business that because I have such a strong clientele and I've built those relationships with them, and of course, they trust the services that I currently offer, I wanted to make sure that I asked them their opinion first because those are the people who are going to try it, and I wanted to see what the feedback from that was going to be, if it's something they would be interested in, if it's something that they'd be willing to try, or even ask them what their current or past experiences with that were. And the response that I had got really gave me that extra confidence that I felt better about going into actually pulling the trigger and doing it. And since then, launching it, a lot of those conversations that I had have now turned into booked appointments and happy customers, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think that first touch, like it's always so important to talk to your clients. They love being part of your growth. They love being part of like anything that you're doing. So, talking about any new product you're thinking about bringing in, or, even if you don't end up bringing it in, it just makes them feel like if you really trust what they have to say and that they're also part of your growth, right? Which I think is so smart on your part. Have you found any clients that weren't tanning clients that are now curious to come into your business, start with a teeth whitening service instead of tanning? Have you had that yet?
Yes, I've actually had a couple of clients who have never spray tanned before who have booked in for teeth whitening service. And with that, with my starting promo that I ran, which obviously we can get into that, but they had got their first spray tan with me due to that promo because I got them in for the teeth whitening, which was incredible that it ended up being obviously a win-win of that they can experience both services that I offer. Of course, being a pro with spray tanning, that it was just the perfect duo service for them to try that now I will have a return client because of it.
Yeah, that's what I love hearing. I find teeth whitening, like even in a more dead season, everybody wants whiter teeth, right? But a lot of people have this hang up still about spray tanning of someone else seeing them like half naked, right? So it's a great way for them to see how amazing you are, how comfortable you'll make them feel. And then it also expands your tanning business clientele too, when you get to reach clients you never thought you would, right? Also, I saw so many couples, like so many couples. Like it was a lot of anytime I did like a
Exactly.
teeth, bring a bestie or bring your, Valentine promo or whatever. It was cool also because that's something men I didn't see a lot of in my spray tan business. So that was cool too.
Which is funny because I actually have a lot of clients who their husbands have come in for tans, but now they've booked for the teeth whitening. So you're totally right. The guys like it too.
Yeah, they do. Well, everyone likes a whiter smile. You want to smile more when you feel, confident with your teeth. Okay, so how did you launch first? Like I know when you and I had talked, I know you used our insider. So we have an insider. You guys can go check it out, sunnainsider.com. Click launch, click SunnaSmile, and you can see we give you tons of ideas of how to launch on social media. But how did you do it? I know you had a goal of like paying off your investment with like that first pre-launch. How did that go? How did you get people to book?
So yeah, so within the insider, it's super helpful because it kind of lays out if you're not really sure how you want to schedule your posts for the launch to get the pre-launch and to get people obviously interested in what it is. It's super helpful because in there they lay out captions that you can use, scheduling that you can use on what makes sense to post when. So I definitely went in there to take a peek at it and see what fit with how I wanted to do it. Of course, and then I created a promo with the spray tanning, which was the Glam and Glow Duo Edition. So when you booked a teeth whitening service within a specific time window, you were also going to get a free spray tan. And of course, any service that you add on or any service that you train in to bring on is an investment. And my goal, of course, was to launch that with the pre-launch and the launch and to make that back. And within the first 2 days of the pre-launch and launch, I had booked enough that had made my investment back, which is incredible because, yeah, if you do it right and you take the time to properly plan it, that's exactly the return that you're going to have and then some. So I'm very grateful for you and for the insider that I took the time to really make a plan and execute it because it paid off.
And that's often what I say on a sales call. Someone's like, oh, might not just be the right time right now. And I'm like, well, tease it. Like tease it to your clients. Do like an entry, introduction, a promo. Don't even order your kit yet. And once you've booked enough to pay for your kit, pay for your kit. It'll come within a week, 10 days, and start and go, and you've paid it off. So it's cool that way that it's not a liability, but you've got to put energy into something, especially in the beginning, and get people, to know about it. Did you do anything strategically, like model wise, or just to know like certain people that you knew if you whiten their teeth, they'd be good promoters?
Yes, of course. And I have a very vast or broad client list that I knew that there were certain clients within that I was going to obviously use them as models to try it. And I find that obviously the city that I live within, the word of mouth is huge, of course, and then sharing that on socials, and just making sure that, I take my time and, like you said, being strategic about it, that understanding that the return on that's going to be there, and knowing who to use as a model and for that service.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying, and I mean, Chelsea and I talk about this all the time, but is have three clients, four clients, whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe if it's only two, I don't know, but people in your community that are comfortable posting on social media, that people like to see what they're posting. It's not so much a influencer. It's just somebody that is comfortable posting, comfortable if you post about them, you story about them. It's always great when you bring in any new like retail product, service, new solution to whatever it is. Or even if you're launching a new promo or a new, package, it's always nice when they also can help you spread the word and you have a face or a familiar face that people can see. It just builds trust. Okay. Troubleshooting. So, and I'm managing expectations. So I know this was one that you said, was a bit of a learning curve because it's a little bit different than tanning. Can you share how you've been managing expectations with your clients with whitening? Like it is different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And I feel like in the beginning, you have to be very transparent with your client and making sure that they understand what it is in the ingredients that you're using and what the process is going to look like. And of course, letting them know about what results can look like when it comes down to genetics, how your teeth lift, what your previous experience might be. That whole like, no trust, and being transparent with your clients is huge, because then they set the expectation for themselves. I believe that everyone who does get a teeth whitening service is going to have a result, but just making sure that they understand both sides of the spectrum for that, so that they're, not shocked if it doesn't lift a full 8 shades.
Yeah. Well, and it depends what they're starting with. And yeah, you want to almost like exceed their expectations and be like, like for me, I have pretty white teeth to start with. But I notice a huge difference when I get my teeth whitened. But if you looked at the shade guide, I mean, I'm only lifting like 1 or 2 shades. But for me, it gets rid of like all my surface stains, and I just look so much brighter. But if they're seeing a before and after on your page where someone looks like dramatically different, but I wasn't dramatically different to start with, I'm not going to be able to go, really any whiter. I'm already kind of at the top of the scale. And I think that's like a lot of clients are like that. Or a lot of clients, haven't got their teeth whitened in a long time, or they have habits like smoking, coffee, red wine, like, and their teeth might stain even faster than other people. So they're going to see a ton of lift because they're not using anything to get their teeth whiter. So those are like those dramatic results,
Yeah, especially for people who have never had their teeth whitened.
And a lot of people like to share those before and afters, right? Because they get clients in the door. But then it's also, you have to manage that expectation for that client that's already actually pretty white. Has the SunnaSmile guarantee helped you book any clients?
Yes. I mean, I think that it's one of those things when I'm transparent with my client that I add that aspect into that conversation with them, especially people who are in my DMs asking me questions about Sunnas, that the guarantee is obviously, of course, if your teeth don't lift, you will not be charged for that service, because obviously it's a higher price point product and service to do, that of course we want results, and if you don't, then you're obviously not going to be charged for that. And that's something that I love about Sunna, is that is the guarantee. So yes, that's definitely something that I like to chat with them about and be transparent with that, because then they're going to feel more comfortable going into the service, depending on whatever the results are, that they're going to leave happy that either they lifted or that money wasn't taken from them if it didn't work.
And it also covers in the rare occurrence that someone is having sensitivity, or, there's pain in their mouth, right away treatment would stop, and you wouldn't charge that client, and you would let us know on your consent form, you'd submit it, and then we refund you for that kit. So that's how that guarantee works, is we refund your kit and you don't charge the client. And that way, that guarantee is put in place.
Yes. It just makes more sense, because having a back-to-back session, you're going to have more of a chance to have obviously a brighter smile and a bigger result. And then you're going to get more longevity out of that post-service. That makes more sense. So that if you come back once a year, you're going to get hopefully that full year of you having a brighter, better result by doing the back-to-back session.
Teeth whitening can be done as often as a client wants, as long as they're not having sensitivity. But what I found was most people were coming like every couple of months, every 3 months. 4 times a year. But of course, there is those clients like tanning that are event-based. So they're only going to come that once a year before their vacation or that family reunion or that wedding. So it's nice to have packages so people can see also, this is what it is if you want to come X amount of times a year, because it just normalizes it for people to know how often they can come.
Oh, I was just going to say that I love that the product that we're using isn't harsh on people's teeth, that it allows them to come back every, say, 2, 3, or 6 months, that it's not like, going to sometimes maybe a dentist where it's so harsh that you can only go once a year.
How did you come up with your pricing? I know I'm asked that all the time, and it's always tricky because everybody lives in a different area. They might be out of their house, a really fancy salon where their like overhead is so much more. So I really don't love telling them how much. How did you come up with your pricing?
I definitely, looked around at my competitors within the city to kind of understand what that market looked like, because I know that there's people within the city who offer the same service. However, I didn't want to come out of the gate with like a very high price point. People who know my brand and know me, I always like to provide an affordable or a great service at an affordable cost, because I believe that everybody should be able to pamper themselves. However, I definitely think that the price point with it is perfect for the amount of time that you're there and the results that you're getting. So coming out of the gate, I figured, for the time that you're sitting there and the product that you're using, that price point hit perfectly for me. Of course, based around what my competitors are also offering in the city and what's worth also my time.
For me, like whenever I introduce something new, I always try to have more of like an introductory pricing. So I would word it like that, like introductory pricing. And then that way, after a few months, I could see, do I think I'm too low? Do I think I'm too high? And then you've kind of like introductory pricing ending, this week or whatever. And it kind of gave me that leeway to see, is my pricing good? Because you get feedback, right? People will tell you, whoa, I can't believe it's all you charge. Or, oh, that's like really expensive for me. And then maybe you're promoting it, or, you just get that feedback from your clients and let them help you also decide.
And for the first month, I've been using that, and so far it's been great. I mean, I've only been launched since the end of last month, so that I think that was a perfect price point to start, just to ease in to figure out how it's going to work, what the results are, and what the feedback that I get from my clients.
What do you love about the SunnaSmile light and system? And what made you, come to like, I'm going to order the SunnaSmile light. I'm not going to go elsewhere. What's been working for you? And are you happy with your purchase so far?
So I've obviously looked in the market at different brands, different places that you can buy it from, order it from. Definitely wanted to make sure that I did my research. But of course, coming back to Sunna, because it's an incredible product, that it's a really good price point, I think, because I've made the mistake before of buying something that's, I don't want to say cheap, but then I end up having to, replace that equipment, or I end up losing appointments because of it. I lose money from it. But I also love that the light that you guys provide, it's lightweight, it's easy to set up, it's very easy to clean, it's easy to move around, and then the comfortability of the client when they're using it, because they're comfortable where they're sitting, and it's just easy to use, which I really, really liked. But yeah, after doing my research and looking around in the market, it just made sense. And of course, the light that you guys provide, it really is a good product.
Yeah. And I always say that people are like, well, I can get a light really similar on Amazon for way cheaper. And I'm like, do it, like whatever you want to do. Like you can still use our kits. But I said, the only thing is if something's wrong, I can't really troubleshoot with you, right? Where if you call me and you have a SunnaSmile light, I can like right away try to help you figure out what's wrong, send you a replacement. Like it's just easier for me to offer, better customer service and troubleshooting. But I know there's definitely like everything. There's lots of options, right? It's just kind of weighing what's better for you and your business, right?
And I think that that's huge, because I focus so hard on having a great customer service experience, that also plays in for me to be able to provide my clients a good customer service experience. I also have to have a good customer service experience for myself when it comes to the equipment that I'm using to provide.
How are you liking the Super Gel Kit? Because when we were creating the Super Gel Kit, we really wanted you to have this kind of like box. You open up, you have everything you need. Are you finding that? Like, are you finding that it's making your life a lot easier with having all the little minis in there in the bag?
Yes, I love it. I think it's so funny that you asked me that. It's so like personalized, and I love that you can lay everything out. They see everything that they need. And there's a cute little, cloth bag that they can take back with them. I just think that it's, again, like what you said, very personalized in a sense. It's very straightforward and easy to use, and it's fun for them to see that they can, obviously take that with them when they leave. And everything that's in those kits is very straightforward on how to use it, which, when you start this endeavor and adding the service, you think about obviously being unfamiliar with teeth whitening. I'm not in like the dental field, but the way that you guys have created it makes it very comfortable for not only me, but for the client as well, when it's all laid out and they can see what exactly it is that they're using for equipment.
Yeah, I really want to do something like that for tanning even. Like I feel like, we get so caught up in these extras and then we have like this for the client to grab and this to grab. Like I do love that when you're a busy salon. Like I get it if you're, you don't have the time, you have the time to do that. But sometimes when you're just so busy, it's nice to just be able to grab that and know what you're doing, then have like this piece, this piece, this piece. It's nice to have it all packaged up. So like we should actually go in because people probably don't know so in our super gel kit, they're all individual boxes. And you open it up and we have like a drawstring kind of linen bag that the client gets to take home. There's a mini mouthwash in there that they'll use during their session. And there'll be more left for them to go home and try it. And they'll love it and they'll end up buying from you either at that appointment or after because they'll get addicted to it. It also whitens your teeth. And then we have a lip balm, your super gel pen. So that's what they're using to put on their teeth. And we have a bib in there, teeth wipes that they're going to use Smile Prep to take off plaque prior to their service with. And what's the final thing? I'm missing something. A vitamin E swab. Yeah, so it just has everything that they need. And then that whole box, they're going to take some of it home with them with their linen bag, and the rest of it's going in the garbage as the tech. So it's just really easy and clean and sanitary when your client shows up for their service.
Yeah, and it's just such a nice little personalized touch that they can take something back with them. And just understanding it's not intimidating when they look at everything. Exactly.
I know I've seen that. Like we do sell things separately as private label. You can check on our website. It's the same, products just separated for the clients that wanted to do that. But I know a lot of people will do that and then they'll come back to the super gel kit because they're just like, I just love the presentation and it just feels so much easier than me having to manage all these parts and labels. And so it just depends where, how you like to run your business. There's no wrong or right way. We have an option for everyone. Okay, setup and overcoming fear. So I know a lot of beauty pros worry about the setup or feeling like they aren't qualified. What was your experience with this and what is your setup? Because I know you have a really small studio.
Yeah, so I in the beginning, obviously had that kind of limiting belief or that like imposter syndrome that this type of service, because I've never worked in like the dental industry, that it doesn't make sense, or people were going to think I wasn't qualified for it because I don't work in that industry. But once I took the training and learned more about the process and the products that we were using and what the experience for the client was going to be, I felt a lot more confident about it because it is a very straightforward process. Within the super gel kits, I mean, you're given everything that you need. It's a very sanitary process, which is amazing. And then keeping it simple for my setup, because the key thing that you need for your client is to be comfortable. And yes, I work in a small beauty room within a salon that I have my spray tan booth. And then I was able to have more space when I removed another piece of furniture in there, but I kept it very simple. I wanted to make sure that I had 2 comfortable chairs in there. If I have, a bring a bestie situation, that everyone has a place to sit. I made sure that I have a table that I can lay out all the super gel items that they can see, of course, and then having space for them to put their personal items. But I wanted to keep it very simple, but yet still keep it very comfortable, because you can get really lost in the thought process of like, oh, it has to be this extravagant, luxurious, a nice, beautiful couch, or like whatever it is that you think about in your head. When in reality, you just want to make sure that, of course, it looks how you want, but that that your client's going to be comfortable to sit there for the 20 or 40 minutes, however long session that they choose. And I think that I achieved that by not overdoing it, but making sure that I had the client's experience in mind of how I would want that if I came to a space to have that service done.
Yeah, I love that. You want to keep it simple on yourself too, like what's easy to clean, wipe. Definitely comfort. But I think we do overthink sometimes things, and like the client doesn't necessarily care as much about aesthetically. Of course, they want to see clean, they want to see simple, but they want, it's still got to be cleanable. It's got to be attainable for you too.
And especially working in a room with spray tanning, everything has to be able to be sanitized because obviously you can't get rid of all the solution from an extraction fan. Yeah, so definitely making sure that it was something that I could choose or that I could have that was sanitizable and clean and wipeable.
Yeah. And SunnaSmile is a product. So for those of you that maybe haven't, done enough research about SunnaSmile, you don't know this, we are not touching the client. So this is no different than them, going to a pharmacy, picking up a whitening kit and doing it at home. The only difference is we're just having a stronger light for them, a little more high quality of a product. So they're coming in there, you're just guiding the client through the process. So you are not touching the client. You are not practicing any kind of, dentistry. So that is comfortable that way for you. Like you're not pretending to be somebody you're not. You are just helping, they're using your light and you're just helping them with how to apply the products by showing them what to do, but you're not physically doing it. So that's something I just wanted to add. Okay, so I know you're naturally good at this. We talk about this all the time, like retail and upselling. But how has this been? Like SunnaSmile obviously has also a retail line. How have you found that? Like adding that now in, are you finding clients are also wanting to buy, is the service taking away from buying the retail products, or is it just helping you sell the service, I guess?
I think that there's like a mix of both because pre-teeth whitening, when I was just doing tanning, I had already like bought and sold SunnaSmile products like the at-home kit because it's something that's easy for literally anybody to use that they can take home. But then I think now carrying those products in salon, it's a conversation that I have once they get their teeth whitened to say, like, if you love this, I actually do have a product that you can take home if you don't want to come back in afterwards, or giving them the option if they like something in the comfort of their own home, that I do have an option for that, or the upkeep of post teeth whitening with me, say the mouthwash or the toothpaste or whatever that looks like, that those products are an easy add-on that either way, whether they're coming to see me first for teeth whitening or they want to do it in the comfort of their own home, it's great that I have something to offer both of those two things to them. But yes, after having some teeth whitening clients who have come and seen me, I have been able to upsell and give them an at-home treatment to continue to follow up with keeping their teeth as white as they can.
Yeah. And I think what's cool about our home whitening kit and our service, people ask like, well, what's the difference? Our home whitening kit, you would have to use like 6 or 7 times consecutively, like every other day, every night, to get the same results that you would as an in-studio session. So it's great to maintain those results. Like after you get your teeth whitened every, week, throw in your home whitening kit to maintain those results that you already had, because, daily staining is going to start happening. But also if a client, like I would love to be a home girl, like where I would like do all my own things, but the truth is I just don't do it. So, that is why I would rather just go spend the time, go get the service done, because I know I'll buy all the things and they'll just sit under my sink because I just will not do it. It's like going to physio and they're giving me stretches, like not happening. So just depends. But then you do have those girls that love the home care, right? They do all of their own head to toe beauty routine. For me, it's just not a reality. So it's nice when you break it down like that. I find you really have something to sell to everyone, right? Or sell both to maintain results. So Chels started this group, which I think is amazing. We were talking a couple of months ago, and she really loves training. She loves mentoring, and she was asking me like in a big scale, like she's busy. How do I reach more people? So she's now started a private group where she just shares like everyday journeys. She's such an open book. She'll share, highs, lows, all of her experience. So if you follow her at
CHELLY Ray RAE and Co, you'll see my name pop up. But yes, search Chelly Ray and Co.
Yeah, and DM her and say you want to be part of this group where she talks about like, of course, adding SunnaSmile, but also just everything beauty entrepreneur related. And I know I've been getting really good feedback from girls that have, entered your world of just, they can't believe how much wisdom you share. So thank you for being such an amazing part of our community. I think it's amazing. And if you're curious about bringing SunnaSmile to your business, you can visit sunnapro.com and also DM Chelsea if you have any questions, and she'll help you with what package is right for you too. And thank you for tuning in.